Hello everybody, my name is Tim, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, but as you can see, background has changed. So I've moved to a new place, was finally able to buy a house, which was something I wanted to do for a long time and was finally able to pull it off. So really happy with that, which was also part of the reason right here. Like I really haven't been active on YouTube. I just, in order to buy a house, you kind of need a mortgage. In order to get the mortgage, you need to show the bank big number. So I was just doing a lot of client work, trying to push the numbers up. Yeah, it was really difficult to find time to do all of the YouTube stuff on the side as well. So, but I was finally able to buy a house. Got the keys in May. Been renovating for a couple of months and moved in end of July. And yeah, it's just a big upgrade. We got a huge garden. Now I love barbecue and gardening, and my girlfriend as well. So it's really nice to have a nice big garden. Finally have AC all throughout the house, which is really nice with like all of the computers here, because it would just get way too hot in the apartment that we had. There was no AC there. It was just not manageable in the summer. So this is a big upgrade. Nice new spot here. Finally got some plants in the background as well. So onto the topic of today's video, which is drop and render. So some of you that have seen my presentation at FMX already know about this, but I've been helping out Drop and Render to bring Houdini to their render farm. If you don't know what Drop and Render is, they're a cloud render farm, mostly known for Cinema 4D and Blender. But they've been wanting to bring Houdini to their render farm, and but they didn't really know how to approach that. So they've got in touch with me a while ago already, and we've been making a plugin. Well, they've been making the plugin, and I've been guiding them through sort of how to make the plugin. Because like there are backend guys, they run all of the stuff there, and they've coded the plugins, and I've been sort of able to guide them to sort of to how to make that, which was really cool, because they asked me, right, I want to make this plugin, tell us how you want it to work, and we're gonna build it like that, which is what they did. So I was able to just effectively just tell them, all right, I want it to work like this, like this, and that's what they've built, which is quite cool. So like I've used some of the other render farms, which always, to me, at least they kind of feel like they're in the way of how I like to work, because for me, like I don't want to be forced into using like any of your own file cache nodes or like custom stuff or like a lot of technical setup. I just want my existing scene and just drop some nodes down and just have it work like that. Do not interfere with my workflow. Else you're gonna have to like build your scene in order to make it work with the render farm, and you're gonna be using the render farm when you're already struggling for time, so you don't want to waste time to make it work like that. So what we've been building is something where you can just submit from any context, and you can just put a drop and render node on a file cache, submit it there, sim it there. You can put it from out context, you can submit from Solaris, you can do everything. PDG is in the works, by the way. It's not working yet, but PDG is coming pretty soon. But aside from the plugin, it's working really well. It's out now. You can start rendering today. And before you start rendering, I want to just show you how it all works, what we've been cooking up, and like I think it turned out really nice. I've been using it a lot for projects over the past year or something, yeah, I just want to show you sort of how it all works. So let's dive into Houdini, and yeah, let's get cracking. All right, so here I have the sort of a demo scene that I've made that they're using as well, which is just some paint dropping over the drop and render logo, and I have it here. I have it rendering in Karma XPU. Oh, by the way, the support as of right now, there's Karma XPU CPU is running. They have like very powerful GPU nodes. So Karma XPU CPU and Redshift and Octane. So in the future might be more render engines, but as for the moment, it's those. Yeah, you can see everything sort of rendering. So it's pretty basic setup here. So we're simulating some stuff, we're matching some stuff, and yeah, then just sort of rendering it in here. And you can already see like some of these drop and render nodes that I've made. So the way that I generally like to work is like what I do myself is I will often sort of make fetch nodes, and I will sort of say, all right, I want to do this one, and I want to sort of submit it to Deadline, which Deadline is just, it's a sort of it's a free tool you can use for internal, like for submitting renders to your own machines. So like I have a couple of my own machines that I use. So if I click this, and it's going to connect to the repository, it takes a little bit, but you can see I can select which machines should sim it, and I can sort of say frames per task, which means like I want the dB high to run on sort of one machine, and I can sort of submit it from there. I could do another one where I would say, right, I want to mesh this, and I could submit that. Or what I could do is not use Deadline. I could just merge some stuff and render it like this. So that's what I do quite a lot. And I kind of want sort of these drop and render nodes to kind of work the same way, that I can sort of keep working the way I do. And when I need to actually do something, like submit something to the farm, it would just sort of work the same way. So that's kind of what we've done. You can already see some drop and render nodes here, but there's also here I have a RobNet, and you can see there's some drop and render stuff set up. And here you can see sort of a workflow for these things. Let me disconnect some of these. So here I have a Redshift render and a Karma render. Let me just sort of disconnect those and do another drop and render. So let's say I just want to render those. So you can see it took a little bit to start up, and now I'm gonna press the Start Cloud Manager, which I think already should be open. So this will sort of open the Cloud Manager, which is this one. Oh, I already had it open. That's why. Right, there we go. So you can see it's already open. You can manage your renders from there or to the web interface. But here I have, as you can see, I just have Karma fetched from my lob network, which is so I can see drop and render Karma. I can just do this one. And it will just work. And here I have my Redshift drop. Again, I could also fetch that from a different context and it would work. And here I have this drop and render node. Here's this custom slice number. That's effectively sort of, okay, how many machines do I want to do? It's further, if you used to do Deadline, it's effectively frames per task. So let's say if you want to do some renders, and if I put this to 5, it means that one machine is going to do it's going to render 5 frames. And then it's going to sort of drop the machine and like it's going to drop the task, start up a new task and do it again. Why would you want to change this? Well, of course, starting up Houdini takes a little bit of time. So if you have really heavy frames that might take like an hour or whatever, you might still keep it to 1. But if you have like frames that maybe only take like 30 seconds a frame, you might boost this up to 10. And then it would like put one machine on the farm, do 10 frames, then grab the next one. Yeah, 5 is a pretty safe thing. And then you have your priorities. You can sort of set up. I don't think a Quartz is available for this. Is a testing one, but you can use Sapphire, Emerald, or Diamond. These are sort of just a simple priority thing. Of course, the higher you put it, the more you're going to pay for your renders. Anyway, if I press submit, it opens up this dialog. And effectively all I just need to do is just press scene check. To take a little bit. It's pretty fast. I've used some of the other ones that are much slower even when you put down the node. So this is generally pretty fast, even on bigger projects. You see it says it has unsafe changes, so I'm just gonna save it again, Control S, scene check. You can see submission. It has drop and render Karma, drop and render Redshift. And you can see it picks up on the frame ranges. You can see it will pick up in the individual frame ranges of each of these. You can override this if you want. You override frame range. So if I were to put that, it will just override whatever is here. But by default, it would just pick up whatever is on the node. You can see at the moment, they don't really have any dependencies. You can see, yeah, they're just set up a single machine no, because you want to have it render on as many machines as possible. If we go to Asset tab, you can see here, it's going to have all of the assets that it's gonna include, and you can see some are already synced, because I already already run this once, except for here for the simulation, because I reran that. But you can see it will automatically gather all of the assets that you're using, so you don't really need to do anything. If in case it doesn't find anything, you can always do like add local assets. You can add files or a folder, and you can already also do add synced assets. So here are some jobs will come up that you've submitted, and you can add them from there. I'm not going to click on one at the moment because I've read out some client projects and I don't want to breach any NDAs. But you can do it like that. And there's also an auto select. I'll get to that in another file that we're gonna do. But if I were to press submit now, it will just start uploading all of my caches and start rendering. So very simple, but we can make it a little bit more interesting because like this is just if we want to render. But let's say we want to submit some simulations as well. Well, here I'm fetching some sims, which is gonna be sim. Yeah, so like here I'm just fetching this sim stuff, and I'm fetching the mesh. So like let's right now I have it set up like that, but like let's say I have it like it will automatically already do a lot of dependency stuff, but here I have it manually configured. But let's say if I press scene check now, effectively I have just set up my dependencies based on how this is connected. So it's first going to run the sim, then the mesh, then the karma is dependent on the mesh, redshift as well, and then it's going to render. So we can have a look here. Sim is going to start frame 1000, 1200. It's going to automatically say single machine, because simulations, you need to run them on one machine, because you cannot, unless you're doing slices, but for just a regular sim, you're just going to do it on one machine. The mesh is set up with, should not be single machine. Oh, that's the reason I have here, you can see I have simulation turned on. So if I turn that off, it will not be single machine. You can see it will automatically sort of pick up on whatever is here. So if this is turned on, it will think, all right, I want this to run on one machine. So it will start automatically do that. Then I have karma here. You can see this dependent on the mesh, and redshift here is also dependent on the mesh. And I think if I do this, it will automatically already do those dependencies. But let me just double check. Oh no, right. So right now they're not, because they're put in the drop render node. But I think maybe if I do them like this, they might already be picked up. At least that's what I saw last time, which I wasn't expecting, because I was already always doing it with just the plugging them in. All right, yeah, you can see now they're also dependent on some other stuff. But now you can see the redshift is now dependent on the karma, because it's going like this, which I probably don't want. So that's why I would say put karma in there, put redshift in there, and then we can make these dependent on the mesh. And then, so these dependencies will effectively just say, right, which one will run first, which one will run second, etc., etc. So if I had another job, I could make redshift dependent on that. Let's say I want like redshift to, for some reason, run after karma. I could also just put it like that, and then again it would run after karma. So you can see it sets up all of the dependencies, and then from there I can submit it, and it will start rendering. So let me boost up the priority a little bit. Let's put it on Sapphire maybe. And before we run this, let me actually just delete maybe my caches, so it will actually run these simulations as well. Because right now it's just going to upload them anyway, because yeah, they already exist. But I kind of want to run these on the farm. So let me delete those real quick. Right, so I've deleted the caches. You can see if I'm scrubbing now, nothing happens. So if I do scene check, it is going to complain that they don't exist, probably. Yeah, you can see assets are missing. It's because these are the ones that we've deleted. But again, it doesn't matter, because they are being generated. And if we go in the job menu, you can actually say, all right, do you want to download these or no? By default, they're set to yes. We can put them to no. Maybe like for the simulation, it's going to be heavy. Like maybe I don't want to download it, because like I only care about the mesh, right, when I'm rendering. So let's say I don't want to download the sim file. I just want to download the mesh. I do want to download the karma and the redshift. And I'm thinking this looks pretty good. So then I can start submitting it. All right, so my voice is a little different now. It's because I'm recording this part of the take on a different day. So I was gonna submit it, but it was on a Friday, and on Friday the farm is quite busy. So I figured it would make more sense to just record this on another day. So here we are. Anyway, yeah. So again, here we have this error. Everything is set up correctly. And I'm just gonna press submit project. So you can see this is gonna be submitting. Right, so job successfully submitted. Now if we look at let me close down the update window. By the way, if you want to ever update your plugins, you get a message that needs to happen. I think you can just click, or it should be. Oh yeah, just click plugins and you should have options there, and then you can just update them from here. But yeah, so this is all going to be working. You can see this is now rendering on one node. I can also go to the web UI, and if I refresh this, all right, there we go. Rendering monitor. So this is going on. You can see you can change the priorities here. So you can see it's set to Sapphire for now, but you can change them here. Or you can do it, you can manage it in here. And there's also, you can also view logs and stuff from the website. So if there's any issues, you can view live log here. At the moment, not really anything in there because it's still going, but yeah, eventually it'll start showing a log. I'll show it once it's done. But if you have run into any issues or whatever, should be like those are the type of stuff you can submit to support. I'm going to be helping out with support on the drop and render side as well. So you might run into me whenever you're helping out with whenever you're asking for support. Yeah, so this is gonna be running. Yeah, let's have a look back once this finishes. All right, so everything has finished simulating and rendering. So you can see sim didn't download because we didn't turn it on to download. Here we have the mesh, all turned out fine. If we go here, Redshift render, all went into the folder as expected. Here we have the karma render, also went into the folder as expected, and I can have a look at the logs here online. So apparently I had my karma render settings turned way too high, so you're gonna see a cost for the karma render that's gonna be way too high, but it's also going to be interesting to show you another thing. Sort of, I'll show that a little bit. You can see here simulation cost only 169. Mesh 456, because that was of course distributed among more computers. Here Redshift was pretty cheap for 93, and the karma render I had samples set up incorrectly. I had it set to 1024 samples, so this was quite expensive as it stands, because this was set up here to 1024. Yeah, so the Redshift render was was pretty cheap. So, but that allows me to talk about another little thing, because we've just used the default sort of render setup. So if we render from Solaris, there's actually two ways that we can use this. So if I go to the output, and let me just disconnect this because we've already meshed that, and let me just do karma for now. So if we go drop and render, there is going to be there's effectively a option for karma workflow. So now it's set up for a USD conversion per frame, and there's also convert all frames first. This kind of has to do with, if we go here to LobNet. So if I do, this allows you that you need to understand USD a little bit, but let me do a USD ROP, and let me connect it up. So effectively, if I'm going to be rendering this now, so just regularly, effectively what's going to happen is that there's going to be a new instance of a machine opening up Houdini and rendering this frame. While if you sort of, if you want to sort of like speed it up, you would ideally cache everything in the scene first, have a USD file, and then render that. If you've ever rendered locally, it's kind of, if you do this, it's kind of happening in the background as well. Render all frames with a single process, and it's also going to make a USD first, and then it's going to sort of render through them, and then it doesn't need to do the processing for the entire file, like open up Houdini, process it every single frame. We can kind of have a look at what that looks like, and here's a little I guess demo, sort of how USD works. But let's try. Let's put this to $hip/USD/myPaint /paint.usd. Let's make a render sequence. Let's put it to 1030, and let's do something like that. And then we can actually go to output processing, and we can go copy all assets referencing later. Oh, it's that. Save all. I think it's this one. Yeah. Yeah. So here you can put an output subdirectory. So let's call it assets. So this is going to copy everything in the scene to a folder called assets, and then we kind of want to do that first, and then we want to make them relative. So this is important to make them relative. Relative means that all of the files are going to be relative to the scene. So you're going to have, for example, your $hip, and then in your $hip location, there's going to be a file. It's going to be the same here. We're going to have our USD file, and then next to our USD is going to be a folder for texture, for geometry, whatever. And that's going to be what the USD is referencing. So if we just try to save this out just as a demo, so that has finished, and then we get a so here you can see in $hip USD paint whatever, we have a paint.usd, and you can see that just has all of the geometry caching. You can see it's quite large, and then there's an assets folder. You can see that has the textures. So if I load this back in, you can see from this sublayer here, I have everything in here. You can see I get the same node tree that I had, all of the lights, all of the everything, and now it's all loading from this USD file, and then in that USD is gonna have all of the references to all of these textures and everything in here, and then from if I turn on Karma, then this is going to render. The benefit is that if you're going to render this and you're going to sort of, for example, put this on the farm, Houdini does not need to run. This can sort of directly run through Husk. So Husk is sort of a is the thing that will render Karma. So if you render it like this, under the hood, Houdini is the same. It's going to make a USD, and then Husk is going to ingest that, and then Husk is going to render that using Karma, using Redshift, using whatever render delegate you're using inside of Solaris. So in short, if we want to render this, and we can, by the way, also if we want, we could just sort of this sublayer that we have. We just put it like this, and we want to submit that. We can actually also just do that. Let me open up Cloud Manager again. And I'm recording this video while doing a lot of other things. I'm recording this on different days every time, but really busy times. Yeah, if I do scene check, just wait for a little bit. Right. Yeah, so you can see it's going to grab all of the assets from this USD directory, and we can actually submit this sort of directly. So if you build your scene through USDs, that will work. But the point I was sort of trying to make is like, so let's say we want to do it here. We just want to submit this render, and now it's not going to grab them from the USD. It's just going to grab them from the other location that they were in, as you can see here. But if we want to render this, we actually have the option to put it to convert all frames first. Effectively, what this is gonna do, if we do scene check, so it's going to make two jobs. one is going to do the Karma USD. So that's one machine is effectively going to do this little thing that I'm doing here. So it's going to copy everything to a localized container. And then the machines are going to be rendering it. So let me turn down the samples a little bit, because maybe the sample count was just a little bit extreme. Let's do, let's turn on a little denoiser for it. And just do lower samples. Let's say 128. Maybe a little bit more realistic. I think probably 128 will look pretty good already anyway. So I'm thinking maybe I can reduce it even a little bit more just for the demo. Let's do 64. So it's going to be a little bit faster. And I have the denoising turned off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be submitting 2 jobs. I'm going to submit one just with the regular Karma render settings, so conversion per frame. And then I'm going to do the second one with the sort of sublayer thing. So let's have a look. So let's first submit this one. It's going to be the regular Karma one, just as we've already seen. So let's just submit it. And then we're going to do a second one, where I'm going to be doing tree. I'm going to put it to all frames first. Check the job, see if it's single machine. Yes, it is single machine. There was an issue before where it wouldn't automatically set to single machine. I don't necessarily need to download the USD, but let's just leave it on. Or let's, yeah, I guess I don't need the USD, so let's just turn that off. And let's, all looking good. No, all right. 2 or 3, all right, save, and let's submit that one as well. Here we can, all right, they're gonna be starting up. Here in the web UI, you can see them as well. You can see a nice little progress bar. Yeah, let's wait for these to, as you can see, this one is already rendering on 25 nodes. It should start producing some frames as well in a little bit. So let's see if there's any difference. So while that is running, we can also have a look at like some of the other stuff that we have. So like I mentioned, you can also just submit sims from here. So if I wanted to do a sim from here, let's say at a different, like from a different spot, I could just put this to do it like this, and then just do scene check, and then I can just submit the sim from here. So you're pretty flexible, and like the nice thing about this is this is something that I just really wanted in the workflow. So let's say like I have another machine to run sims on myself. But let's say I want to just do a bunch. I can just throw them on from here, which is just super useful, instead of, you know, needing to go through the process of like doing the fetch stuff, which is, I mean, it's also fine. Like I set that up myself, but it's just nice to have that all in here. And if we now have a look, by the way, in the meantime, here you can see frames are coming out. You can see here you have the Karma USD is rendering on one machine. So it's producing the USD. And once this is finished, this one is going to start. You can see it has dependencies. Should be able to see that in here as well. Yeah, you can see sort of it starting to tick up. You can see rendering. You might think, all right, the price is high, it's only at 4%. Well, it's like some of the frames are almost done, right? Because it's already like it's running on 24 nodes at the same time. So once these complete, it will quickly jump, like in progress anyway. But yeah, let's have a look in a little bit what that all looks like. And over here, by the way, on the right, you can see sort of preview frames coming out. So you can see this frame 1150. And yeah, you can see some more frames starting to pop up over here on the right, and then also in the in here you should also be able to see them, and it will eventually produce a little preview that you can watch in the yeah. So here you can see it rendering, and like you'll be able to, yeah, you can see you can play preview. Of course, not all of the frames are done yet, so it's not gonna look correct. But in the meantime, like, you can just have a look at all of the other stuff. You can see render time per frame, credits used per frame. You can see which frames are still rendering. So like the web UI is pretty nice. This is also pretty new. So this launched around the same time that the Houdini plugin got launched. So before that it was just all with this UI, but it's just gonna be nicer with the whole web UI. Is just easier to just see what's going on and to view the logs for every frame. So if there's any issues, like if you run into any issues and you need support, like you can just go through here, have a look at the logs, and we can help you out. So these are finished. You can see that they're done. You can see them. Didn't see them in here. You can actually go from here and go to output folder. So we can grab the regular one, put them in. Just gonna view it in Fusion. So we're gonna have both of them. So yeah, pretty straightforward. And the other one, you can see they're the same. Because I mean we rendered the same thing, but I mean, different ways. So one was done in Husk, and the other one was done with Karma. So let's have a look. So the USD thing, let's first look at the regular one, by the way. So this is the Karma one, cost 16 euros and 30 cents. Then we have the Karma job, so the Husk job is 11.75. So you can see it's a little bit cheaper. Of course, you have to add the USD job was 42 cents, so it's pretty cheap. And you can, if you click on it, you can inspect the details. You can see Husk, you can see the preview here. Yeah, that all works. So you can see there's actually a little bit of a difference. So like the USD stuff is cheaper. Just keep in mind that sometimes this might break. And I can show you an example of sort of where it would break, because USD is a little peculiar sometimes. So I'm gonna just show you one example of, for example, where this would not work. All right, so here's a thing from my toolset called the Pathsequencer. If you don't know what Pathsequencer is, effectively, look it up on my channel. I'll put a link in the description. But it's a toolset that I made that sort of allows you to easily instance stuff. And sort of time offset it. So here you can see I'm growing a bunch of like a field of flowers, and this is all procedural. So I have a curve here, so I could grab the curve and could just move it around. You can see the instances here are sort of animating over it, and I have so that you effectively just set it up by, for example, pointing this to a sequence on disk here. You can see pointing is to a BGO here. And then I can sort of orient them. I can retime them a little bit, like randomize the growth and stuff like that. Anyway, if I try to, let's say I want to put this in a, let's do a lob network. And let's put this in. Let's do SOP import. Let's put it in there. Right, so let's have a look, and you can see it comes in fine. There's no materials on it right now, but I can render this just fine. Let me put a camera real quick. I just want to sort of show you like that USD sometimes might break and where you might not want to use this USD workflow. So you can see this all works. And if I now, so let's say I want to write this, like I want to render this on drop render, this would work fine. Like if I, so let's say I do drop render and I want to I first need to do Karma. And this also going to be an interesting thing where I need to actually, let's do flowers. Right. So if I do somewhere like this, and if I do a, let's do this. Let's do frame range. So if I were to do this, might need to show something also as well. Because this might, I'm not sure, not find all of the flower assets. Let's just have a look. Okay, so it actually does find them in this case. So sometimes if you so that's because like I have it set up with a file path here. Let's say sometimes I would configure file paths with, like, before I made this tool set, I would sort of configure these paths in a wrangle. Like if I go in here, you can kind of see. Let me just break it open. So all the stuff here is configured with like a whole bunch of wrangles, like to set up these paths. Feel free, if you have the tool set, to sort of go into that. But if it only exists on a wrangle like this, the tool's not going to find it by itself. So in that case, you could go, you could go add local assets, and you could add them in the folder, and then it would all work fine. So in this case, this does work. So if you submit this now, this will render just fine. But let me show the USD asset workflow. Let's say I do USD rob, and I say, all right, I want to write this to USD. So let's do .usd / flowers / flowers.usd. All right, let's put it like that. Let's do frame range. Let's not do the entire frame range. It's gonna take forever. All right, let's say output processing. Let's do the copy all assets. Let's put them in assets folder. Let's put it up. Let's maybe flatten the entire stage. All right, and let's try to save this out. So this is gonna save out. All right, so that has finished exporting. Let's see this in the, let's have a look at this in the file browser. All right, there we go. Oh, yeah, keyboard. All right, there we go. Yeah, as you can see, it wrote out flowers. There's no textures on it right now, so it will not do any of that. Let's try sublayer. Let's try layering it in, and let's see what it's gonna do. So you can see stuff is definitely happening, but it's really popping in, popping out. So this is because the way this is bringing in, this is effectively creating and destroying like stuff on the fly. So you can see it's sort of bringing in these BGOs. USD just doesn't like this. And if you have Houdini processing this per frame, this works fine. But if you try to sort of write it out to a USD, you can see it just breaks. I need to make a read time node for USD at some point for this. Let's say if I were to unpack this right now, do it like that, and then try this out, this will work fine. I can show you. Right, so yeah, you can see right now. So this now works fine, and now I can render it. It's just that the way that it's sort of trying to load these on the fly, that USD will just break. So this is something to keep in mind. Yeah, so that's just just a thing that you just, I guess, need to pay attention to. You can also see the USD now is a lot bigger because it's saving it every frame. So just experiment with this. I can show another USD example maybe. Right, so here's just a simple little demo scene of loading some USD. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, so very basic scene of just instancing some plants. Yeah, so nothing too interesting going on. Effectively what it is, it's just let me just turn this off. It's just it's a bunch of plants with some variants, and then just sort of setting up all that instancing. So this is all grabbing so this is all coming directly from USD. Like I'm not really loading anything as far as points in. So everything is created here inside of USD. So let's have a look at how drop and render handles this. So if we do scene check, so you can see, it will find all of the textures. It will find all of the USDs. So this all works just fine. If you have a USD that refers to an outside asset, so these USDs, as you can see here, have everything sort of local to themselves. So leafy dandelions will have textures, variants, everything inside of here. If you have the USD pointing to somewhere else on disk, then it's not going to work. So just keep that in mind. So it will upload it all and work just fine if you build your USDs like properly, like this, where they keep all of the assets self-contained. If it's gonna randomly point to different places on disk, then that's not gonna work. So just something to keep in mind. But if you render this, this should all render just fine. So let's have a look at one other example for what we can do with drop and render. Oh, here's a demo scene. It's not my scene, but it's from the Houdini 20.5 NPM stuff. So there's, I don't know where it is in the video. Yeah, I think this one. So of this, this ship breaching. So that's this thing. So I just grabbed sort of this file, and you can see here, set it up to be able to render with drop and render. So just as a sort of a demo. So you could download like all of this stuff from here, from the side of X content library. But let me cancel this real quick. You can see there's a lot of caches in here, and I didn't really modify much. Like all of the paths are just sort of the same. What I just did is I went ahead and I fetched all of these sort of in the way that they're supposed to. And just for my own sort of organization, like I put some merges in between. So just sort of that it's a little bit clear what's happening. And I just set this up to render. Let me just put this to something like that. And let me actually go in here. Let's see if everything is... yeah, okay, so there's at the moment no render for that, so that's fine. Yeah, so let's try to simulate and render this on the farm. And this is gonna also... All right, oh yeah, I'm gonna just turn this to manual. So if I'm gonna scene check this, so then you're gonna see something interesting. Right, so you can see all of these, like it's loading all of the things that it needs. And here you can see it's going to be uploading a lot of the files. But you can see it will also upload, because like effectively this thing is just calling a asset list from Houdini itself. So you can see it will also upload all of these files that it doesn't need for this particular scene. So let's say you have a scene that's going to have a lot of assets in it, and like it might be tens or hundreds of gigabytes of files in here that you don't want to all upload. So we actually have an auto select button here, and it will allow you to go in here, and then I can go in object and I can go advanced, and I'm gonna do the ship breach. So I'm gonna click this and press OK. And you can see it will deselect everything that's not used for the ship breach. So now it will only upload, well, a lot less. You can save. Let's just do another scene check just to be safe. Set to Sapphire, that's fine. We can have a look at all of these. Oh. So you can see, oh, let's turn off download, by the way. But let's do it now, because I don't want to download all of these caches. So effectively what I want, I just only want to render back. So I'm gonna turn off like download on all of the things, like all of the sims and intermediate caches. And I'm only gonna download the final EXRs, because I don't really care for getting all of these caches back, right? So you can see all of the dependencies are set up. Right. Karma is gonna be put out. Let's have a look at see if the frame range is all set up correctly. 45. All right, looks good. All right, let's yeah, let's just fire this up, see what comes out. All right, let's go. So this is gonna submit a little bit more things, so it takes just slightly longer. You can see now also total size is only reporting as 95 megabytes. All right, clear. Right, so this is now gonna run, and I'll report back once this is finished. All right, so that has finished rendering. So I've loaded it into COPS here, so you can see all of the frames are here, and yeah, you can see it all processed just fine. So let's have a look at the website. Right, so here we go. So the npm sim itself, you can see that was pretty cheap, €5.23. The SDF processing also €5. Then the fracture detail 2, debris source 243. Then the default here, secondary is also pretty cheap. Sheep breach. Okay, so yeah, so the oh wait, yeah. So there's it's not completely organized. So I guess I don't know. Oh, this is creating a SDF. So apparently that one was pretty expensive. Maybe that has to do with how high the SDF settings were set. Again, like I didn't change anything on the settings, how it was set up by side effects. So the render obviously is the most expensive part. I kind of feel that probably they overtuned maybe the SDF stuff here. Again, I didn't download any of the caches, so I can't really have a look at how it is because I didn't want to download them everything. Of course, I could have just turned on downloading, and then we would have seen that. But so you kind of get an idea of running it. But you can see, yeah, it came out all fine with all of the steps. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Right, so yeah, that was pretty much everything that I wanted to show. Hopefully it was sort of interesting. Hopefully you can see sort of the type of thing where we're trying to do here. I'm pretty pleased sort of how it's working now. Like it's super straightforward for the most part. You just put a drop and render node on it, you click scene check, you submit, and it should work. I've been using it for a lot of client projects over the past year, and it's been working pretty great for the most part. Like you're still every now and then, like there's still problems gonna come up, but like we'll sort through those as they come up. Like if you try it out and you run into anything, just report a bug and it'll get fixed. I'm also helping sorting through bugs and looking at files. Because like there are 1001 ways to do anything in Houdini, so like there's always going to be some things that don't work yet and they need to be patched in. For example, there was this week there was someone who had put something with like Python scripts in a file swap that would sort of combine things together. Well, that was not quite picking up as it should. So there are some things that might still not work. We're working on that. Also, PDG is coming. So it is working, but there are still some things again that don't work yet. So it's gonna come into the main build at some point. But yeah, give it a go. Again, there's a discount code Tim_Houdini20. I put it in the description. You'll be able to get discount of your render credits. If you sign up, you get free render credits to try it out anyway. I'll put the source files to the paint sim thing in the description as well, so you'll be able to download it. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'm quite pleased sort of how it turned out, and yeah, let me know what you think. Until next time, peace.